The street was quiet except for the hum of passing cars and the sound of wind scraping bits of paper along the pavement. It was the first real snow of the season, the kind that softens the city's edges and makes everything look cleaner than it is. Under the flickering streetlight sat Evelyn Harper, wrapped in a coat that had lost its battle with time. Her fingers were blue from cold, clutching an empty coffee cup she hadn't used in hours. People passed by. Some glanced, most didn't. She had become part of the scenery, like the lamppost or the trash bin beside her. Across from her, Marco's grill glowed warmly through its windows. Inside, laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft hum of jazz music filled the air. Marco De Luca stood behind the counter, wiping his hands on a towel, watching his staff clear tables. Business had been good lately. Christmas always brought in the crowds. "Let's close up, guys," he said, checking his watch. "It's almost midnight." As the last waiter left, Marco noticed movement outside. Through the frost-covered window, he saw her, a small figure hunched in the snow. At first, he tried to ignore it. The city had thousands of homeless people. He couldn't save everyone. But then he remembered something. His mother. She used to keep a pot of soup on the stove, for whoever might need it. He'd been 12 when she'd told him, "You don't feed the hungry because you can fix them, Marco. You feed them so they know they're not invisible." He sighed, slipped on his coat, and pushed open the door. The blast of cold air hit him instantly. "Hey," he said softly. "You can't stay out here. Ma'am, it's freezing." Evelyn looked up. Her voice was rough but gentle. "I know. The shelter's full." Her eyes met his, tired, but alive. Marco hesitated. He looked down the street, then back at her. "Come on," he said finally. "I can't have you freezing out here, just for a while." She blinked in disbelief.
"Are you sure?" "Yeah."
"Come in. I've got some soup left." He helped her inside. The smell of garlic, herbs, and warm bread filled the air. She sank into a booth near the kitchen, her hands trembling as she held the cup of soup he placed before her. "Take your time," Marco said, setting down some bread. "No rush." "Thank you," she whispered. This is the first hot meal I've had in 2 days." Marco sat across from her, curious. "You from around here?" "I used to be," she said with a faint smile. "Before things changed." He didn't press her. He'd seen enough pain to know some stories were too heavy to tell. After a long silence, she looked up. "You remind me of someone," she said quietly. "Oh yeah, your eyes. You have your mother's eyes." Marco froze. "You knew my mother?" Evelyn nodded slowly. "Lucia De Luca. She used to feed the homeless on Christmas Eve. She gave me soup once, same kind, actually, tomato basil." He felt a lump in his throat. "That was a long time ago." "Yes," she said softly, "but I never forgot her kindness." When she finished eating, she stood up to leave, but Marco stopped her. "It's too cold. There's a cot in the back storage room. It's not much, but at least it's warm." Tears welled in her eyes. "You've already done more than anyone else has in years." He smiled. "Just paying forward what Mom taught me." That night, Evelyn slept in the back room, surrounded by sacks of flour and boxes of pasta. Marco locked up, turned off the lights, and left her a note on the counter. "Breakfast's on me. Make yourself at home." The next morning, she was gone, but the blanket was neatly folded, and the note had, "Thank you, Marco. Don't lose your light," written beneath it. He smiled and went on with his day, not thinking much more of it. But 2 days later, everything changed. Around lunchtime, a sleek black car pulled up in front of the restaurant. Two men in suits stepped out and held the door open for a woman wearing a tailored coat and polished shoes. Marco was in the kitchen and didn't recognize her until she spoke. "Mr. DeLuca." He turned and froze. "Evelyn." Her hair was brushed, her face calm and confident, her posture regal. She looked nothing like the woman who'd been sleeping in the snow. "I wanted to thank you," she said. "For your kindness." He blinked. "I don't understand." She smiled. "I own Harper Investments. We manage several properties in the city, including this block." Marco's mouth fell open. You own this place?" "Yes," she said softly. "I come out every December to see who still remembers kindness. Most people walk past. You didn't." He was speechless. Why pretend to be homeless?"
Because once I really was, she said.
"Your mother helped me when no one else would. She gave me soup and a chance to wash up in her kitchen. I promised myself that if I ever made it out, I'd do what she did. Find those who haven't forgotten compassion." Marco felt tears sting his eyes. "She'd be proud of you," he whispered. Evelyn smiled gently. "She'd be proud of you too. You're just like her." One of the men handed Marco a folder. Inside was a deed, ownership papers for the property next door. "I want you to expand your restaurant," Evelyn said. "Build something that gives back. Maybe a free kitchen once a week, like your mother did." I can't accept this." "You already have," she said. "You gave me warmth without asking who I was." That night, Marco sat alone at one of his tables long after closing. Snow fell outside again, coating the streets in silence. He thought about his mother, about Evelyn, about the strange way life circles back when you least expect it. In the months that followed, Marco kept his promise. He expanded his restaurant into a two-story space. The upstairs dining area stayed the same. Polished tables, candlelight, the hum of jazz. But downstairs, he built something new: Lucia's table, a free community kitchen that opened every Sunday morning, no questions asked. Homeless men and women, single mothers, tired delivery drivers, all came through those doors. And every week, Marco greeted them the same way: "Welcome home. Soup's on." He often found himself glancing toward the door, half expecting to see Evelyn walk in again. She never did, but every month, a check arrived in the mail signed E. Harper Foundation, keeping Lucia's table running. Years later, when Evelyn passed away quietly in her sleep, Marco attended her funeral. It was small, no media, no grand displays. Just a handful of people whose lives she'd touched. The pastor read from her final journal: "I learned that wealth doesn't mean never being hungry. It means feeding others even when you are." After the service, Marco stood in the snow looking up at the grey sky. A single flake landed on his coat and melted. He smiled. That evening, he went back to Marco's grill, turned on every light, and left the doors open for anyone seeking warmth. The smell of soup drifted out into the winter air. Across the street, under the same lamppost where Evelyn once slept, a stray cat curled up on a blanket someone had left there. Marco chuckled softly. Maybe kindness really did echo, quietly, endlessly, through those who never stopped believing it mattered. And as the snow fell heavier, he whispered the words his mother used to say: "Feed one hungry soul, and the world becomes lighter."